Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins for the Shiruba Springs in the Winter Festival 9-hole Cup. This week and this 9-hole Cup we are going to have steady wins. It means that we are going to have the same wins on the qualifying round as we do have in the final round, which I personally absolutely love. Before we take a close look at all the videos here, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that are looking to improve your game even more, we do offer premium guides at patreon.com/golfclashtommy. That is via the link in the description down below, or you can scan the QR code that you can see here on the screen. Last but not least, follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. On hole 8, the drive. Here I'm using a power 3 ball, utilizing the tailwind, aiming left of the light pole and trying to just bounce my ball up safely on the fairway. In the end, I ending up using 4 topspin and 2 right spin, and adjustment is max plus 10 P3. You can obviously play with a different ball here, such as a P2 or P1 ball, but the good part with using a P3 ball is that you don't have to go with any overpower if using that type of ball. Perfect it is, and we're going to bounce on the fairway over the other fairway to get ourselves a nice position on the second shot. Yardage is 350. Second shot, we're looking at that one as well. Now I'm using the backbone. This shot is actually very good in terms of you can still have a decent ball guideline even with a bad worse clubs. So you don't really have to play with Grizzly 7 or 7 plus or B52 7 plus to have a good look at this hole. The only difference that I would do here though, if you compare a backbone 8 and like a Grizzly 7 plus that have 4.5 ball guideline, is to aim the ball guideline slightly short. True club distance minus 10% elevation, P3 numbers. A perfect ball here will have a very good chance for a drop. Bounces on the fairway and it comes up and it rolls dead center for a lovely eagle here on hole number 8. For hole number 2, we are going to go for a rough bump. Even though it may look scary, but there is something there that there isn't if you're bouncing on the fairway. That is called a funnel. And a funnel is when you do have room to actually move a little bit more left, a little bit more right, and you will still be in the same spot with the ball guideline. Does this mean that you will automatically drop it just because you hit perfect? No, you still have to have the proper adjustment, still have to center the ball, still have to have a proper pull angle and stuff like that. So that will not change. But what it does though is that it gives you a little bit more room for error once you do have a proper adjustment, and it's going to be less lucky to drop a shot like this compared to if you're bouncing on the fairway. Max plus 10 adjustment ball comes in, and I think this is in all the way, but we are just burning the left hand side. To have that said there in the end as well, if you do not feel confident with the rough bump, which is totally fine, then you can always use all the backspin that you can on your long iron, bounce on the fairway on the right. Sure, the drop for the hole-in-one will be rare compared to the rough bump, but it will always be super duper safe. Hole number 3 of the Shiruba Springs is hole number 9 in the Superstar 9-hole Cup. Here we're playing with a power 5 ball, and I would say that's an important thing to do, as we do want to get as close to the green as possible on the second shot. Now a control drive to try to just get the ball down the fairway. 10% elevation. I'm gonna play minimum distance together with that. The topspin will vary depending on if you do have a headwind, crosswind, or tailwind. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway, and we're getting it over here. And here we want to be as close to the rough on the right without obviously rolling into the rough. Second shot, we are going to use the fairway on the right, and here comes the very difficult part with this part 5, is that we can't really reach the green in 2, so we're going to have to do our best to get as close as possible. Tailwind on this shot, meaning left to right wind off tee, is going to be super helpful, as then you can play into the wind. But if you're having headwind, you can just imagine that we will go much shorter, and then it's going to be a much tougher third shot. Now, on the second shot, we're going to play the wedge. I'm going to play that 110% elevation as well. And take a look at the wedge just as a reference. Here, use the wedge that gives you the best accuracy and ball guideline. Here, in this case, it's the Firefly level 5 for me, but I would say using an Endbringer or something like that in a decent level is definitely the one to prefer. Even though I do have a lot of topspin here, what I will recommend is to try to have your first bounce either on the fringe or very close to the fringe, because there are many glitch spots here, and this spot here is by experience the best. The 10% elevation, and then whatever way you decide to adjust your wedge, try to hit perfect with this needle. And you see the ball comes up here and rolls down, and we're getting it to drop for an eagle here on hole number 3. And the thing is though, an eagle here is definitely going to be something not everyone is gonna get. Shiruba Springs, par 3, playing from the front tee, and this is, in my opinion, a tougher hole from the front tee than what it is from the second tee, and for the third tee as well. And the reason is the ball guideline and the ball guideline alone. Because when looking at this here now, we would love to have a good ball guideline to attack the pin, because there are so much fairway, so much green to cover before we actually end up by the hole. So what I decide to do, which I think is the more safe approach, but also in actually the better chance for the hole in one, as we can control the speed of the ball once it hits the ground better by using backspin, is that we're aiming past the bunker, and we are using backspin and some right spin to aim slightly short of hole as it is tailwind. And then we adjust medium distance plus 10 using a navigator, and we're using the long iron that gives us the best ball guideline that we do have, which is the Goliath of my clubs. It could be different for you. Obviously, playing with a Grizzly in a decent level would give you a very good ball guideline, which would be the best club actually to use here. But don't really have that here on this account, unfortunately. But here, Shiruba Springs, I would say this is not the toughest, this is not the easiest, but good chance for an hole-in-one. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament text guides for the Winter Festival 9-hole Cup. This is a perfect chance for you to up your score in Expert or in Master Division. We will have the same win in qualifying round and in the final round. So the guides being produced in the qualifying round will obviously stand to the weekend round. Obviously, we do have other guides as well. We are the only place where you can find premium content for all the game modes. If you do want to improve your gaming checkpoint challenge or tour play, and obviously, like already said, in tournament play, you scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that you do have in the description down below and sign up today. On hole number 3, another NMT. We are going to go with 3 right spin and no top spin or back spin. And we're doing extra mile and a katana ball. Adjust is max plus 10. And then we're going to play with half a ball of right curl. Perfect ball it is, and we're gonna bounce on the fairway, and we're gonna bounce down the fairway, focusing on getting up into long iron range. There we go, 326 yards, that's great. Now for the second shot, we're going to play with our Goliath. Now the difficult part is obviously, as always, trying to judge what club that distance you're in. You're gonna be somewhere between minimum and minimum and maximum distance. So what I do here in the video is that I'm playing this one slightly less than medium distance, which in the end happens to be not accurate, as I do miss just on the right hand side. So from this range we should have been playing this one just completely medium distance instead. Adjustment is made and then hit perfect. You can see that I used the top of the yellow ring to be just by the rough line, and the applied spin, so the ball guideline was still short of pin, because the important part to have in mind is that the Goliath does not have a full developed ball guideline, and then that needs to be compensated for by leaving short, otherwise we will come in too hot. Just burning the right edge, but we know what to do for the next time to give ourselves a even better chance for an eagle. For hole number 6, we want to have a lot of topspin on our drive. So if you do not have the higher level drivers such as Thor's Hammer, Extra Mile, Apocalypse, then the Big Topper is definitely a perfect club for this. I'm using as much left spin that I can together with the topspin, so 7 topspin, 3 left spin with my Big Topper, and you don't have to have a Big Topper level 4 to play this type of shot. You can have a Big Topper level 1 and still have the possibility to have those stats. Adjust max plus 10 it is, not max plus 20, so I'm changing that right there. So max plus 10, and we're using curl. Here we should have used a little bit more curl than what we are using, or we should have moved our target a little bit more left. The intention is to clip the rough to roll out onto the fairway, and from there just play ourselves towards the green. The problem with this type of hole and having low level clubs is that you will most likely have to just fight for the eagle, because you have to make it over to that second fairway and actually reach to a certain distance on that fairway to actually have a shot for the pin. Otherwise it's going to be just to shoot yourself as close to the green possible and get yourself the eagle. Because you can see here now that I'm using my big dog level 6, using all the top spin together with some left spin, and I'm aiming to have the second bounce in the rough. This is a controlled way of using the rough to roll out for a short wedge. You will see many of your opponents trying to bounce over that rough and glitch roll into the back rough. I rather see myself playing conservative and lay up like this and have a very short wedge to lock in the eagle. Minus 20% is the elevation on the approach, and the reason for that is because we're playing massively uphill and the wind will affect the ball very little. On hole number 6, here is another Send It, and we're gonna use the Big Topper. This is a little bit trickier than the one that we had on hole number 5, but when it is a tailwind here, I'm always looking to send it over the right hand side, as in a worst case scenario I will be in the rough very close to green, and that compared to having to lay up short, then I'd rather take a short iron close to green than I would be taking a rough iron by the green. That's at least my stance with this here. So all the top spin and a little bit of left spin. I try to hit perfect. Now I'm lucky hitting a poor great left, but you can see that I'm still rolling out, ending up playing a wedge. And now, as for those of you that watched hole number 5, notice that I had the wrong wedge packed in because I had a poor ball guideline. Here you can see how easy it becomes while having a better ball guideline with the Firefly level 5. Now I totally understand that not all of you watching here have a wedge that is in a decent level, but if you have, always ensure pack that one. So what did we learn about the wedges for hole 5 and 6? Always pack the one that has the best possible ball guideline. Hole number 8, and we are going to bounce on the fairway. You can see me dabbling around a little bit with a rough bump here, and the rough bump is definitely a viable option if you have the top spin enough. But if you do not have the top spin enough, then it's just going to be a too aggressive way for very little reward. Having the Goliath would be the only club in the very lowest level that do have the top spin, but again, then great balls may not be safe on left and right side. So now I'm trying like this kind of bounce down play. The difficult part with a play like this is that you have to estimate with your ball guideline how the ball will come in towards the hole. It's very easy to come in shorter than expected or longer than expected because you have to estimate the bounces after the first and the second bounce. Using 2 backspin, 1.5 left spin, adjust max plus 20, and the ball comes in nicely, a little bit too short, but in the end we do have a chance for an hole-in-one, and the end result will many times be a birdie, which is totally fine. Aruba Springs, hole number 9, that is hole number 5 in the Superstar 9-hole cup. Start with the big topper, max top spin, 1 right spin. Now we're looking at the ball guideline mainly, trying to get the ball guideline to go not straight down the fairway, but looking towards the rock there in the background that is left of that light pole. Adjustment is going to be minimum distance, no elevation, as we are playing very close to minimum club. That's also why I'm using a power 1 ball to avoid myself to go in between clubs. Center the ball and hit perfect. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway and it goes beautifully down the fairway. And the further down we are on the fairway, the better it's going to be. When it comes to the second shot here, use a club that do have a decent amount of top spin. You don't have to play with a horizon here if you don't want to. But even with a lower level horizon, you have no issue by getting the ball down there. But you can easily playing with the big dog or playing with a low level cataclysm or something like that. The goal here with this shot is to go short rather than long, and the reason for that is if you go too long, there is a downslope on the green that will make you fall down into the rough, and that's not something we wanna do. 10% elevation through club distance, normally gonna be around medium distance of your club. Using some curl as well to compensate, and it bounces on the fairway down towards the green. And even though it might look that the ball is gonna fall down into the hole, it's never gonna do that. It doesn't have the hill enough to do so. But I will take this pot for an eagle all day and every day. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with various wins for the Winter Festival 9-hole Cup here in Golf Clash the game. Scan the QR code here on the screen and go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. Get to our premium guides and you can start as low as $3 per 30 days. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.